The Truth Girls.
Hi everyone. Are you confused about gluten? Gluten-free? Gluten? Is the gluten-free stuff worth it, or is it just a scam? Well, I'd like to help you maybe sort that out. First of all, there's this. The gluten-free con. It's the star's favorite food fad, but costly wheat-free products just make most people fatter with no health benefits at all. Huh. How could that be? Well, just because something's gluten-free doesn't mean it's good for you.
Oh God, gluten-free.
But does that mean that gluten-free makes people fatter? Well, no, actually, there's a link between eating wheat and eating gluten, and not only gluten, but gliadin, and between that and weight gain. Now, another thing is that there's a strong link between eating wheat and gluten and the gliadin in it and mental illness, schizophrenia, and possibly also bipolar disorder. And I've covered this in some other vlogs, but the more I investigate this, the more I find that there's actually a very strong link. And now there's more. The doctor says modern wheat is a perfect chronic poison. So cardiologist William Davis, who's written a book about wheat, what he says basically is that the wheat we have today is not your grandma's wheat. It's been hybridized over many years, and the wheat that we have now contains a protein called gliadin, which acts in your brain like an opiate. And so what happens is people eat this and they basically get hooked on it, and he says it leads people to consume as much as 440 calories more per day, 365 days per year. And he says that when people stop eating wheat, they start losing weight. We're seeing hundreds of thousands of people losing 30, 80, even 150 pounds. Diabetics become no longer diabetic. People with arthritis have dramatic relief. People losing leg swelling, acid reflux, irritable bowel syndrome, depression, and on every day. And one place where gluten-free comes up a lot is in the autism community. I know that when Jenny McCarthy said she used a gluten-free, casein-free diet to help recover her son, mainstream publications all said, you know, that's just a bunch of nonsense. There's no such thing. How could that be? But, you know, a lot of people have had this experience of their children improving on a gluten-free and casein-free diet. And now there's some scientific research backing this up and explaining it. Higher antibodies to gluten proteins in children with autism. It says U.S. researchers say they found elevated antibodies to gluten proteins in wheat in children with autism, but no connection to celiac disease. A lot of kids have gluten sensitivity, and a lot of adults too. And they're going around their whole lives kind of feeling like crap and not knowing why. And if you're feeling like crap, you might want to try taking the gluten out of your diet. And maybe you'll even lose some weight too. Maybe that's not enough of a motivator for you. But let me tell you something else about the wheat. It recently turned out wheat fields in Oregon were found to be contaminated with non-approved GMO wheat. As a result, South Korea and Japan banned U.S. wheat imports. In general, outside of North America, they're not too keen on GMOs. In Europe, they absolutely go ballistic. They do things like burn down crops. I don't think their reactions are an exaggeration. Scientists say new study shows pig health hurt by GMO feed. Turns out now that pigs who were fed GMO corn had all kinds of stomach inflammation. See, they didn't want to show you this in the mainstream media, but you'll find it here on Natural News. They got pictures of the pig stomachs, and it's pretty disgusting. So in the end, they couldn't find any more GMO wheat in the US when they tested the supply, and they couldn't figure out where it had come from. But the point is, the contamination was there, and our food supply is contaminated and full of GMOs. And even the regular wheat, as I just told you, is hybridized. It's full of gliadins, full of gluten, it's full of lectins. It's just really bad for you, so you probably don't want to eat it. So I hope that helps to clear up some of the stuff about gluten and gluten-free. And leave me your comments, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.